Alexander Magyarics impressed me with his new designs, and Crowell, Christoph Lohe created two extremely difficult puzzles that are gonna take you a lot of time to solve, and Dr. Vilker Latussek is magnificent as always. There was a quick review of all 7 new puzzles made by Pelikan for those of you who doesn't like when I talk too much and watch my videos just for 30 seconds. And if you want to see full review, grab a cup of tea or coffee. Today is Friday, forget about tea and coffee. Grab a glass of wine or a beer and let's take a closer look at all 7 new puzzles. We were waiting for this release for a while and it took so long, partly because of the COVID situation that we have here in Czech Republic. We have one of the worst COVID situation in the whole Europe, and starting from the 1st of March we are not allowed to leave the city where we live. So I live in Prague. That's not a problem since Prague is a huge city. But for some people who live in small cities or in villages where there are like 5 or 10 houses, they're not allowed to leave the place where they live. So that is something crazy going on here. But let's talk about puzzles. This time Pelikan made 7 puzzles. 3 of them are designed by Alexander Magyarics. 2 puzzles are designed by Crowell and Christoph Lohe, and 2 puzzles are designed by Dr. Vilker Latussek. And I'm gonna start with puzzles designed by Alexander Magyarics. And I'll start with Rattlesnake puzzle. It is made of 2 different kinds of wood, Venge and Zebrano. The inner parts are made of Zebrano. There are 3 inner parts. 2 of them are quite simple, but the third one is rather complicated. It looks like this, and as you can see, it takes like the half of space of the whole frame. And the third piece looks like this. The object of this puzzle is as always to fit all 3 parts inside the frame in such a way that the opening will be covered and there will be no gaps. And it's going to be quite a challenge since there are a lot of ways how you can put these 3 parts together, but there is only one, I believe there is only one way how you can put them in a correct way to solve the puzzle. The name of the second puzzle designed by Alexander Magyarics is Sliders. It is made of 3 different kinds of wood, pink oak, Venge and purple heart. And the name comes from these 2 sliders made of Venge. If I remove one of the parts, you will find that I can move these sliders. I can move them like this or put them like this. And depending on the position of sliders, you're gonna have not 1, not even 2, but 7 different objects. So the first one is to fit all parts inside in such a way that the opening will be covered and sliders are going to be here. The next one, you can remove the parts and put the sliders, for example, like this. I believe this is going to be one of the most difficult solutions. Next, you can move sliders like this and try a different way to solve it. Now I'm going to remove all parts from the inside so that you can see what you're going to be dealing with. The parts are quite simple and you have to put them inside the frame along with these 2 sliders so that you're going to cover the opening. Also, there is one restriction here. This part, there is one voxel, is a part of the frame, so you have to keep it in mind when you put all parts inside the frame. The third puzzle designed by Alexander Magyarics, which impressed me the most, is Pelikan. It's going to be available in 2 different color combinations, Zebrana and Maple and Zebrana and Paduk. This puzzle impressed me the most because of the design. Usually we see such kind of puzzles made in a cube shape with inner parts that look like small cubes combined together in a different combination to create different shapes, but this one is completely different. First of all, the inner parts, they don't look like small cubes, they look like triangles, and you have to put them together in such a way that you will put them inside the frame and cover all openings. The puzzle comes assembled. It looks like this, and as you can see, all openings are covered with inner parts, and when you remove them, you have to put them all back inside in such a way that all openings will be covered. The design of this puzzle is made in such a way that it's gonna look like a pepper caster, but in my opinion it more looks like a radiation symbol. When I started solving this puzzle, I was very confused. I didn't know what to do, again, because I used to solve cube-shaped puzzles, but this one is different. But after 5-10 minutes, you're getting used to it and you can figure out what you have to do. Next two puzzles were designed by Crowell and Christoph Lohe. The one on the right called Cyborg, it is made of mahogany and maple. The one on the left called Chambur, and it is made of mirabau and pink oak. Both of these puzzles are extremely difficult to solve. Each of them requires around 50 steps to remove the parts from the frame. As you can see, the puzzle comes pre-solved, so the object here is going to be to remove the parts from the frame and then put them back inside the frame. Each puzzle has 3 rather complicated shaped parts and the frame, and when you start solving this puzzle, you will quickly figure out that it is quite difficult to keep tracking on what is going on inside, and you're going to be relying more on your luck rather on your experience in solving such kind of puzzles. And as soon as you will be able to remove the parts from the frame, it is better to start putting them back while you still remember some of the steps. Other way, it's going to take you more time to put it back than it took you to remove the parts from the frame. And the name of the next puzzle is Fake Cube. At a first glance, it looks like a pile of parts, but it was designed by Dr. Vilker Latussek, and his puzzles are never a pile of parts. This puzzle is made of acacia and paduk, and the object of this puzzle is to create a cube out of these 10 parts. If you take a closer look at these parts, they are all exactly the same. They have exactly the same shape, and you have to create a cube that's gonna fit in this frame, and it's gonna be a fake cube. The reason why it's gonna be fake is because on this side, on these 3 sides, it's gonna look like a cube. But if you put it upside down, remove the frame, you will find that inside there is gonna be a gap. So it's not a full cube, but it's gonna look like a cube from the outside. So it's going to be a very beautiful shape, which is going to be quite challenging to figure out how to put together. And the last puzzle that I'm going to show you today, called Aku, it was designed by Dr. Vilker Latussek. This puzzle is made of 2 different kinds of wood, acacia and maple. It has 9 parts and a frame. All 9 parts have exactly the same shape. They look like a letter V. And the frame is pretty familiar to you if you're a fan of Dr. Vilker Latussek puzzles. It looks like a frame from Casino Puzzle or maybe Euclid Puzzle or some others. As always, Dr. Vilker Latussek uses precise mathematical approach when he designs his puzzles. And when you're gonna solve it, you have to be as precise as Dr. Vilker Latussek was when he was designing the puzzle, and you have to use every millimeter of the space available inside in order to put all these 9 parts inside the frame. So quite an interesting puzzle, which is going to take you a lot of time to figure out the way how to put all 9 V-shaped parts inside the frame. All these 7 new puzzles are going to be available at Pelikan's website in next couple of weeks. As always, I don't know the exact date. Probably guys from Pelikan don't know exact date as well, but I think it's going to happen between the 15th and 20th of March. So be patient and you're gonna be rewarded with one of the beautiful puzzles made by Pelikan. And by the end of March, at beginning of April, all these puzzles are gonna be available at some other puzzle stores. So as soon as they're gonna be available there, I'm gonna put a link in a video description. And that's it for today. Hit the like button if you enjoyed watching my review of new Pelikan puzzles. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. Buy my merch, link is going to be at the end of the video. And have a good weekend. See you next week.